Hello everyone, this is Inma and today I would like to give you some ideas to work more easily on Studio Paint. But before I start, if you like my tutorials and you want to support me in some way, you can check my Patreon. I'm making drawing and coloring tutorials there, and the link will be at the end of this video and in the video description. Okay, so let's start. The first thing that I would like you to know about Studio Paint is that you have this window over here which you can move and set freely wherever you want. It's the sub-view window. You can make it available here. Sub-view, okay. This is like a little window where you can import an image that you want, and it can be used for reference, like if there is a character that you want to draw and you want to have the reference somewhere, then you can upload it here. But the good side of this little window is this, that when I move the cursor, whatever it's called, the pointer, on top of it, it becomes the eyedropper. Is it called that? Okay, so you can pick colors from here. See? So what I do is to create character sheets with the colors and such. So when I'm coloring a character, I can just pick the colors here, and it's very useful to work on color schemes and such. And if you want to clip this window like I did, so you just move it here, for example, you move it until you see the red line and you can set it wherever you want. I have it on this corner, but yeah, you can set it wherever you want. The second feature that I would like to review of Studio Paint is a layer color. So you can make a new layer and you can paint in black or in any color that you want, and then you can click here and everything will turn to the color you have in different darkness. Black would be the darkest, etc. And this is useful for sketches. When you are done with the sketch and you want to ink it, it's always useful to have it on a different color so that you can ink properly. You can edit the colors used here in layer property. So for example, if I prefer my sketches to be red, then I will just do it like this, and then it will turn red. So imagine that I have my sketch on many different layers, and then I want all of them to have the same color. So what I do is to select all those layers, then I click Ctrl G to make a new folder, and then I set the layer color to this folder, but it has to be set to normal. If it's true, then it won't work. But here, see, all the layers are normal, they are black and such, but this color mode applies to all of them. So when I'm done with the sketch, I just put it into a folder like this, and I set the color that I want here. If I want it, I want it red and such. And this is very useful for sketching. Another nice feature of Studio Paint is the way in which you can arrange your stuff, like your brushes and such. You can download many brushes from assets, like here. So what you can do is to make different sections for them. The software comes with some, but you can completely customize them. So what you have to do is, for example, if let's customize this one. Okay, so I have these brushes here which are colors. So imagine that I want a new category here for, I don't know, random brushes. So what I do is I drag one of the brushes here until the red line appears. Now I select my new section will have the name of the first brush, but I right click, setting of subtool, and now I can give it a name. So I will call it random brushes. And now I can keep adding, moving brushes here, see? And I can return them. And so like this, you can create different categories, like the ones I have for my decoration brushes. Like I have lights, manga lights, Kakeami, this one came with the software, adornments, laces, etc. And another thing that you can do is if there is a brush that you use a lot, you can even move it here. So you will always have access to these. And then, okay, I don't know how to put it back, but I guess there's a way. I did that for this airbrush. I created a new airbrush for this function that the blending mode, I set it to color burn so that it would burn colors, because this one I use a lot, so I set it here. And you can do the same for all the materials that you have. You can customize everything in Clip Studio Paint, which is awesome. Speaking of customization, I showed you before how you could move windows around. So I'm going to explain a bit in more detail how this works. So you have this window here. If you want to clip it to the right, to this window, you have to move it until you see the red line on the right. Now it's here. If I want to make it loose, a loose window, like it's moving free, then I just drop it here and you can change the size. If you want to put it to the left, then you do the same, but you wait here. If you put it here, then it will appear on top, like this will be two different sections. And if you want to put it under or on top of another window, that you wait until the red line appears on top or under it. And then you can also adjust the height and width of all the windows. Another important feature of Clip Studio Paint is the quick access window. You can activate it here. Quick access, you have set 1 and set 2 by default, you see, with many options. But you can create a new set, random, for just anything that you want. This is like a shortcut for the stuff that you use the most. And you can apply brushes here, or you can decide what options you want here. For example, if you want the save option to be there, just click add and it will be here. And you can also use filters, the ones that you use the most, you can have them there. For example, this one. And I don't know, whatever tool that you want to apply, like text. So for example, you can make a quick access window for manga, and you can have the different tools that you normally use, like splitting the panels, the bucket, or the usual brushes that you use to ink, etc. You can have them in one quick access window. Another super important tool from Clip Studio Paint are the two different eyedroppers. Like with the normal one, you pick the color that you see. See, if I want to draw now, I will be drawing in this color. Then I pick red, I paint red. But there's this other eyedropper where you have to select the layer where this was drawn. This color is set to multiply, so it's darker, but the original color is this green. But if I use this one, this eyedropper, then I will get the original color. This is very useful for when you are working on shadows on a picture and you don't want to reset the layer to normal so that you can pick up the original color and such. Just select the layer where you were drawing and use this second eyedropper, which I don't know its English name, but there's only 2 of them, so just try them out. And this is very useful, yes. And last but not least, here's a feature that I use a lot. When you click C on your keyboard, you change from the color you're using to the eraser color and back. I click C again, I go back to the color. So what I did was to set the C button on my pen, on my drawing pen. So when I'm drawing, I can just click on my pen, on one of the buttons of my pen. One of them is the right click, and the other one, the one on top, is I set it to C. So yeah, I can change the color very easily, and it's super useful when you are inking and when you are coloring, because you can do this really fast. I totally recommend it. So that would be all for today. I think there's probably many more features that should be worth mentioning, but I can't think of any right now, and I don't want this video to be too long. I hope you found them useful and that it will make your working more easily. If you have any questions or suggestions for the future, or just comments in general, any feedback I can get, I'm very grateful. And if, as I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to support me in some way, you can check my social media and my Patreon, where I'm making drawing and coloring tutorials and such. And that would be all. You'll find all the links next, and see you next time. Bye bye!